What's up guys, Everything Apple Pro here, and I'm sure you guys have all heard of Force Touch. It's that new technology that's going to be released with the iPhone 6s in literally less than 1 month. So the purpose of this video, I want to get you guys familiar with Force Touch before it's even out. I'm going to be showing you guys where it could possibly be useful, how iOS 9 is going to adapt to fit Force Touch based on analysts and leaks, and basically just give you an idea of whether or not Force Touch will truly be a necessary feature or a gimmick. Now Force Touch will basically give your iPhone the ability to differentiate between a light tap and a firm press on the display, and consequently to activate different actions depending on which one you choose. This isn't anything new, however. It's currently being used on the new MacBook, the MacBook Air, and MacBook Pro. Now this is called Force Click. It's slightly a different variation. It's also being used on the Apple Watch, but on the actual MacBooks, what this does is if you actually firm press onto the trackpad and you click on a word, let's say, it'll actually bring up the definition of the word. If you click on a link, it'll bring up a preview of the actual link. So basically, Force Touch, Force Click, the real purpose of it is to save you a few seconds and be more useful. It adds a 3D interface to your actual display or trackpad wherever it's being used. It's also being used on the Apple Watch, and let me tell you, it's not its main feature. Apple's actually been very discreet about Force Touch on both of these. It's a feature, they definitely advertise it, but it's not the halo feature of the Apple Watch or the new MacBook. And although it's going to be a major physical change to the iPhone 6s, Apple will not be marketing it as the biggest change on the iPhone 6s. That'll be the performance and camera. However, it will definitely add a lot to the iPhone 6s. Let me go ahead and run you through some features where it could be useful on an iPhone, and it will differ from that of an Apple Watch or the MacBook. There's been a lot of information leaked by analysts where Force Touch could be useful, and it certainly makes sense. Now let's take Control Center for example. You want to get into the settings for either Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, just hold and Force Touch on the actual toggle. It'll take you straight to the settings. Same thing for any of the other toggles. It saves a few seconds, but they really do add up. Same thing with words. Say you find a word, you want to know the definition, just Force Touch it and it'll bring up the definition right away instead of having to hold it and then clicking define. That's just a few seconds that are unnecessary. Apple's always been about simplifying this. This totally makes sense. It simplifies a few steps that shouldn't be there. In Maps, to drop a pin, instead of waiting a few seconds by holding the display, now you just Force Touch and save a few milliseconds there. Also, if you find a destination, say there's a McDonald's and you see the waypoint for it, all you need to do is Force Touch on it and it'll take you there right away. It'll bring up the directions for it and then you can go ahead and confirm if you want to go there. This is actually all information leaked by an analyst, and it totally makes sense. The whole purpose of Force Touch is for shortcuts. It'll create shortcuts, save you seconds in the iOS experience, and they will all add up. And just like the Apple Watch, when listening to a song, just Force Touch on it, it'll give you the options to either save for offline use, add it to a playlist, create a new playlist, or stream it to a source. So definitely very useful. Like I said, it's all about shortcuts, creating shortcuts, saving you time, simplifying a process that took previously 2 steps to make and making it just a 1-step process. It's going to have a learning curve, that's for sure, but once you do learn it, it certainly will be very useful. An area in particularly useful where I could see Force Touch making sense is in media controls. You Force Touch, press firmer to fast forward or rewind faster. And this is actually in use right now on iMovie on MacBooks with Force Click. Now, a major area where Force Touch will be useful that's just come to light is shortcuts. You'll be able to Force Click on an application on your home screen and be taken to an area that you preset where you want to be taken. For example, the phone application. You'll Force Click on it and it'll boot you right to voicemail or the phone dialer, or wherever you want. It's not confirmed, however, that you'll be able to preset what the shortcut actions do for applications. However, it's been said that for news, you'll be able to Force Click it and it'll boot you right into your favorite news sources. Also, in the leak it said that on the new Notes application on iOS 9, you'll be able to Force Click on the application and it'll boot you right into a fresh, clean new note. Also, you'll be able to Force Click, and with varying amounts of pressure, you'll get a thicker or a less thick line. And that actually is really cool. It would be really nice for people that like to draw a lot, sketch, it'll save you a lot of time. Now that I've highlighted all of the features that Force Touch will enable your device to do, it raises the question, will Force Touch be a gimmick, or will it truly be a feature you can't live without a few months from getting your 6S? Well, to answer that question, let's take a look at Touch ID. When Touch ID was initially released, people were ripping on it. I mean, it's a feature that was unnecessary. You don't need it. Why? It was just to raise sales of the iPhone. But as time went on, it truly became something useful. Not only did it save you time unlocking your device, device, it's actually a few milliseconds faster to Touch ID your device and boot in right away. Touch ID was extremely useful for payments, Apple Pay. Apple made it a lot more useful as time went on, even though that's not apparent right away. And I think the same thing will apply to Force Touch. It might not be the most useful right away, but as time goes on, Apple and developers will find many more uses for it. I personally think that simplifying the iOS with Force Touch and adding a range of new controls without adding a ton of buttons on the display will truly make for a great experience. Not to mention, it'll save a lot of milliseconds, and those do really add up with time. So in conclusion, although Force Touch will be a big part of the iPhone 6s launch, it will not be its biggest feature. Actually, far from it. Apple's going to be a little bit discreet about it. It's going to take time for it to truly reveal its true colors, and I think it'll be certainly very useful. Just like it is subtly on the Apple Watch and MacBooks, Apple is definitely going to make it a great thing. It just takes time. So guys, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully with this video, I did give you guys an idea of what Force Touch will be like on your phone. Of course, it's subject to change. I'm going off of analysts and leaks, but hopefully it will be a great experience. I'm really excited for the iPhone 6s. Be sure to check out some of my other videos on my channel. Have a great day, guys, and enjoy Force Touch when it is out. Peace.